Good evening and welcome to TiVi Tuần-san News of the Week. My name is Emma Doe. In what's making headlines this week, over 2,000 people injured following Tet celebrations in Vietnam. Another rehab centre breakout in southern Vietnam. And the country launches its e-visa system for foreigners. In this week's top story, over 2,200 people were hospitalised for injuries sustained in fistfights following Tet celebrations in Vietnam last week. A report released by the Vietnamese Ministry of Health revealed what cases hospitals wrestled with over the three-day Tet holiday period. Between January 27 to 29, 14 people died due to escalating fights. 130 people were hospitalised for injuries relating to firecrackers, and 1,200 were admitted for alcohol poisoning. The report shows an upward trend in hospital admission due to fighting over recent years. A recent report by the NGO Oxfam has highlighted the economic gulf between Vietnam's richest and poorest. According to the report on inequality, Vietnam's richest man earns more in a day than the poorest Vietnamese earns in 10 years. Other startling statistics showed that Vietnam's richest earn more than enough in 1 year to lift 3.2 million people out of poverty in the country. The report was launched as part of the NGO's campaign called Even It Up, which aims to tackle extreme inequality by raising awareness through public debate and policy. Vietnamese taxi drivers are speaking out against ride-sharing apps Uber and Grab Taxi. A news report by AAP details violent clashes between Grab taxi drivers and traditional motorcycle taxi drivers near airport and bus stations, places that traditional taxis consider their exclusive spot. Lifelong taxi drivers who ferry tourists and local passengers around their cities say their incomes have fallen dramatically since the arrival of ride-sharing apps. While taxis in Vietnam traditionally negotiate rates with passengers, apps allow those travelling to know the price of a journey before they even set foot in a car or on a motorcycle. A 73-year-old motorcycle taxi driver told AAP that his income had been slashed in half since the apps were introduced, going from 11 Australian dollars a day to around $5. The US-based app Uber and the Singaporean-based Grab have become popular in Vietnam in the last 2 years. Vietnam has officially launched its new e-visa system, allowing citizens from a select number of countries to apply for a 30-day visa through an online form. The pilot scheme announced last year came into effect on Tuesday. Citizens from 40 countries, including China, South Korea, Denmark, the US and the UK, are all eligible, although Australia and Canada are not on the list. That's likely because both countries already make up a sizable amount of Vietnam's tourism sector. Vietnam is hoping to attract more tourists from wealthy Asian nations, Scandinavia and Europe. Foreigners applying for an e-visa will have to wait 3 working days for their applications to be processed. 100 patients have escaped a compulsory rehab centre in the southern Vietnamese province of Long An. It's the latest in a number of breakouts from treatment centres across the country where many drug addicts are forced into for up to 2 years. Escaped patients from the centre in Long An hid in paddy fields and forests, reportedly upset that they were spending the Tet holiday away from home. Since the breakout on Sunday afternoon, around 74 patients have been recaptured or persuaded to return, and the search for the remaining patients continues. Vietnamese drug treatment centres have been criticised for overcrowding and poor conditions. In November last year, 100 inmates escaped from a facility in southern Nong Nai province after a riot in which police used tear gas. According to official figures, there are almost 13,000 people in treatment centres across the country. Vietnam's penchant for coal is slowly polluting its air and harming citizens in the process. A new report by Greenpeace International and Harvard University found that coal-fired power plants in Southeast Asia were on track to creating a so-called air apocalypse. The report urged Southeast Asian countries to act quickly so as not to become dependent on coal-fired power. In Vietnam, the number of coal-fired power plants is expected to rise to 133 by 2030. Burning coal can lead to toxic air pollution that puts people at risk of lung cancer and a number of other respiratory and cardiovascular diseases. The US city of San Jose in California has officially banned the flag of the Vietnamese Communist government from being displayed on city flagpoles. According to local media, the move follows a unanimous decision from members of the San Jose City Council after the measure was first proposed by Councilman Tâm Nguyen. San Jose is the first Bay Area city to ban the emblem, red with a gold star, from flying on city property. However, the communist flag can still be hung on private property. The former Republic of Vietnam, also known as South Vietnam, was backed by the United States during the Vietnam War and was represented with a yellow flag with 3 horizontal red stripes. South Vietnam fell to communist insurgents in 1975. Last Thursday, thousands of people lined Melbourne's Swanston Street to watch the vibrant and colourful Australia Day parade. The annual parade, which immediately followed the morning flag-raising ceremony, featured over 80 community and cultural groups. About 100 people from the Vietnamese Community Association in Victoria participated in the city's parade. They wore an array of traditional clothes and held the flags of the Australian and Vietnamese cờ vàng. The MC at the event said that the VCA was an organisation which helped the Vietnamese community successfully settle in Australia, and added that Vietnam is a beautiful country, attracting lots of tourists to go over and visit. On the eve of the Lunar New Year, about 15,000 people attended an event held by the largest temple belonging to the Vietnamese community in the state of Victoria. Quang Minh Temple in Melbourne's west welcomed the Year of the Rooster with cultural performances, lion dancing and a spectacular display of fireworks. TiVi Tuần-san reporter Van Nguyen was there.
Quang Minh Buddhist Temple held its annual Lunar New Year festival on Friday, the 27th of January. Thousands of people attended the event, also known as Tết or the Spring Festival in Melbourne's west. Venerable Thích Phước Tấn has been the abbot of Quang Minh Temple in Braybrook since 1997. He said the festival was a great way to bring the community together.
The festival in some way was started at the time, but it wasn't any size compared to this year. People get together, exchange some gifts, and also the concept of Hai Lộc come to the temple and do the prayer.
Those present at the event had the opportunity to enjoy the festivities celebrating the arrival of spring and welcoming in the Year of the Rooster. It was also a fun and valuable opportunity for families to embrace in the Vietnamese cultural traditions. Dr. Phạm Phúc Nhân, who helped organise the event, said he hoped festivals like these could teach the younger Vietnamese generation about their heritage.
I think this is a very important festival for Vietnamese community in Australia and all over the world, because all the Vietnamese children remember this day in order to remember the parents, grandparents and ancestors forever, and they have a good deed in the future.
The annual event continues to grow in numbers each year. A large percentage of people who go to the Tết festivals at Quang Minh Temple are part of the Vietnamese Buddhist community. However, the number of non-Buddhist people and foreign guests is rising each year. As the night moved on, more people flocked in to witness many special moments. Festival goers were able to soak in cultural displays such as firecrackers, line dancing, and traditional performances.
3, 2, 1.
Celebrations for the Year of the Rooster continue with one more Vietnamese Lunar New Year festival. Melbourne Showgrounds in Ascot Vale will be hosting a 2-day festival this weekend with specialised food, entertainment and rides. That's all from TiVi Tuần-san News of the Week. For more stories, you can follow TiVi Tuần-san at tvtsonline.com.au and Facebook at TiVi Tuần-san. I'm Emma Doe, thank you so much for watching and I look forward to your company at the same time next week.